A couple weeks ago, I saw Amazon had released a fitness tracker called the Halo with some really unique features. So the things the Halo is mainly tracking are your activity level and workouts, your sleep, your overall health through body scans, and the feature that I am the most fascinated by. It's called Tone, and it actually analyzes your voice to see how you're likely perceived by other people. So I've worn this for about a week now and really tested it out for you guys to see if it's worth getting. The Halo band I got is a fabric blend material, so it's really light, and most of the time I honestly forgot it was even there. It's similar in size to an Apple Watch, but the biggest difference is that the Halo doesn't have a screen at all. I think people might compare the two because you wear them both on your wrist, but in reality they are very different. I would consider the Apple Watch more of a communication tool, although I usually just use it to track my workouts, but you can do all kinds of things like texting people, taking calls that you can't do on the Halo. The Halo really is more of just a fitness tracker. You can't text people on it or do anything like that. The reason they didn't add a screen is to limit distractions. There is a corresponding app though, so you can see all of your data within that. So there are some really cool features in this, but are they actually accurate? Do they really work? That's what I tested out, and now we're gonna go over what I found. Because spoiler alert, not everything was super accurate. Also, welcome to my new room. I moved, so that's why there's a new background. Okay, let's get into the review. So I've worn the Halo pretty much 24/7 for the last week while I've been moving. You honestly forget you're even wearing it, which is really nice, except sometimes at night when I'm sleeping, I am aware of it and I find it a little bit annoying, but I found I could still sleep while I was wearing it. Since you don't really notice it much day to day, I'm just gonna be going over a week later how I think each feature performed. So let's start with what I haven't been getting enough of lately, and that is sleep. Let's see how it is as a sleep tracker. So I assumed this would be more accurate than any sleep tracker I've previously used. Before, I was only using this iPhone app that tracks any noise to know if you're asleep or not, so probably not super accurate. So I've worn the Halo as I sleep for several nights now. So last night I got a decent amount of sleep. The Halo said I had 6 hours and 26 minutes of sleep, and the Sleep Cycle app said a very similar amount, 6 hours and 31 minutes. They both have these little graphs to show you when you are asleep or when you're awake. I find the Halos to be a little confusing because it goes from awake to REM to light to deep, and it just doesn't really make that much sense to me. The sleep cycles is just way more simple and makes more sense to me. I'm someone who actually does unfortunately wake up kind of a lot in the middle of the night. Sometimes it would capture that as a sleep disturbance, but sometimes I don't think it really did. I really figured since you actually wear the Halo, it would be able to track your sleeping movements better, but I don't know. So far, it really hasn't seemed all that much different than what you can already find in the App Store. The one thing I will say is this is the first version of it, so I'm sure it will get software updates in the future, and I think it really does have the potential to be better, but right now, it's not really that good. The sleep tracker aspect of it seemed really cool in theory, but in practice, I just didn't find it to be that accurate. There were times where it said that I took only 5 minutes to fall asleep when I know for a fact I was lying there tossing and turning for 30 to 45 minutes. I didn't find the Amazon Halo sleep tracker to be any more detailed or accurate than just the normal Sleep Cycle app that you can get in the App Store. Next, I'm gonna try out the body scan. From what I found online, you don't really need this for the body scan. There are different apps that can do it, but with the Halo, you can track it over time and see your progress. So for the scan, it tells you to wear minimal clothing. So you can wear a swimsuit or something like that. Since this is YouTube, I'm wearing a little more. And then it just gives you some instructions for the actual scan. It really only takes about 30 seconds. It's very fast. It processes for a few seconds, and then you have this little sim version of yourself. You have to input your own weight, and then with the photos and with what you put as the weight, it will calculate your body fat percentage. So as you can see here, it calculated mine to be 27.4%. I actually did 2 scans. The first one I actually did in a swimsuit to see if it would be more accurate. It says my body fat percentage is 26.9. Is that high?
No.
I don't know why it sounds like a
What
lot.
is it? Do you want me to tell you what I just Googled?
What? What is it?
I don't believe this though. Someone with a BMI of 26 to 27 is about 20% overweight.
Is my body fat really 26.9% Amazon? I feel like that's not right. So then I did the second scan where I'm wearing like a little more clothes to see if it would be any different. Now I'm 27.4. How did I just gain a percent in 5 minutes? Jeez! You gotta admit though, the scan is like really good quality. Like it caught my necklaces. I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of shocked by this and I am skeptical. I don't really know if it's accurate. I decided to go and get a professional body scan to compare the results. So I got a DEXA scan and let's take a look at how it compared to the Amazon Halo's body scan. Okay, so I have the professional body scan results here and it gave me 22.3%. So a whole 5% difference, which doesn't really sound like that much, but it actually was enough to put me in the like overweight category versus just like normal. This also obviously gives you way more info on everything. Like it's just much more in depth. I mean, I think the Amazon scan doesn't really compare to this at all. So I think the Amazon Halo, the body scan, it looks really cool, but I wouldn't fully trust it. In my case, it really was not that accurate. I don't know, it could be good for tracking progress and visualizing it, but I wouldn't really trust the body fat percentage. In my opinion, the most interesting thing about the Halo is the tone feature. So the tone feature analyzes your voice so that you can, as they put it, maintain relationship health. So you can see how other people perceive how you sound. The tone tool tracks how you speak throughout the day and gives you a summary, and then it'll also give you some highlights. So it will just pick up on times that you have the most emotion in your voice and tell you. If you tap the button, you can bookmark a conversation so that you can see later how you sounded. And there's also a feature where you can see live how you sound. So here's my friend and I kind of testing it out, just having a generic conversation.
Taking back. It's like at your old place.
I have a shelf to take down, just like the garage of stuff, but it won't.
It's gonna
be
think you're
bad.
sad and negative.
I know, it totally is. It's gonna be like, oh no.
Oh, there you go, you're happy
it's
now.
It's funny to see it bouncing around.
Yeah.
So as you can see, it's pretty accurate and it's actually more descriptive than I thought. I thought it would just be like, oh, you sounded happy or sad, but it would say things like you sounded skeptical or knowledgeable, things that I didn't really know it would be able to pick up on. It actually did a really good job at this. I was curious to see if it would pick up voices other than mine, so I tested that out a bit as well.
Am I confusing it at all by being like, oh my God, Shelby, so exciting.
Oh, I think you did trick it.
Now I'm really mad. This is just terrible.
Okay, so it kind of can pick it can pick up other people's voices a little bit. So the tone feature I did find to be pretty accurate, and I honestly didn't love my results from it. So at first, I didn't really like the tone feature because I wasn't loving the feedback I was getting. I was most days mostly neutral, but then in the beginning, I was getting like 10 to 18% in the blue category, which is reserved, discouraged, and worried. And I don't think anyone wants to be sounding like that, right? Like I was like, do I really sound like that? Oh my God. I had my old roommate who knows me quite well look at my results to judge if she also thought they were accurate. So October 7th, 14%. That one would be down or reserved, kind of.
You can be reserved. I feel like when you're like working, you're like very focused, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like that's not like, you're like, this has like a little sad face. I don't feel like you're constantly sad. No, you're also like about to undergo major surgery.
That's true. And I've been vlogging about it a lot.
Yeah,
and honestly, I've been talking about it a lot. So I didn't love that it was telling me I kind of sounded like that, but at the same time, I was moving, I was kind of stressed. It's fair. I think, yeah, I may have sounded like that. But with that feedback, I've kind of made an effort to sound a little more upbeat, and I mean, I've gotten results for it. I've gotten a little bit more into the yellow-orange category, so that's cool. I do think this could be a little bit much. Like, do we really need to know how we're sounding all the time? Maybe not, but it could be helpful in different situations, like a job interview, or I think it would be so interesting on a date, like a first date would be fascinating. I do think this thing is interesting, and I think it could potentially be helpful, but I could see how it could turn a lot of people off to the product because it's kind of a lot. With all these random features, you might forget that the main purpose of this is a fitness tracker. I found it to work in a similar way to any fitness tracker. It showed your heart rate, calories burned, all that within the app after you work out. Everything seemed really accurate and it worked, you know, just as I thought it would. I will say I do like on the Apple Watch how you can see your heart rate, your estimated calories burned, how long you've been working out, all that. You don't get any of that with this, but it does track it in the app and you can just look. It's a little more hidden in there, but you can see all of that. So in the app, it shows your workouts, your sedentary time, steps counted, really just the usual. It has the same things you would expect out of any fitness tracker. So all in all, the Amazon Halo, it's interesting. It has some cool features, but it also has some that are just not that accurate, as we found. I think for what it is priced pretty well. It's only $65 right now, and I think $100 normally, but they do get you with that monthly subscription. I just really don't like the monthly subscription business model. But yeah, that's pretty much my review. Let me know what you guys think of this. It is a little Black Mirror-y with the tone, voice analysis, and the body scans. Okay, so that's gonna be it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.